Hello everyone, today I will be explaining the 5 technical questions from 33A. First, let's look at the first question. For this question, it says that we should refer to the diagram, and the network administrator must, on this switch, set its IP address so that it cannot be detected by LDP. That is, without disabling the protocol, you need to make sure that its IP address cannot be detected on the link. So in this case, if you want to hide this IP address, you need to disable the sending of the management TLV in the LDP protocol. The process of sending of this management TLV specifically, right? So the only answer that meets this requirement is answer D. This configuration command is the one we need to set here. There is no LDP TLV available for the management address in this scenario. All of the other answer choices provided are incorrect for this question, as they do not accurately address the requirements. Therefore, the correct answer is option D. Please make sure to select D as your answer, as it is the only one that correctly fits the criteria described. Alright, let's look at the second question. The diagram for the second question isn't very clear. Alright, for the second question, we also need to look at the diagram. The question is asking which configuration must be applied when setting up switch 1, specifically the switch in the middle. In order to verify part of the configuration, the engineer executed a command, and during verification, it was found that the link on the side of switch 2 was not working, the entry was missing, the configuration entry was absent. So what changes must be made on this device to allow the two PCs to communicate normally? Now, let's look at the configuration. The missing configuration is on the side of switch 2, so it must be related to the interface on the right, the Gigabit Ethernet 02 interface. Looking at the configuration for the 02 interface, we see a few commands here. One of them is the switch port access VLAN 2, which indicates that this interface is a user access port. In this case, configuring it as an access mode port is sufficient. There's no need to set it as a trunk port. Therefore, the command switch port mode trunk is incorrect. Also, allowing this VLAN on the trunk link is incorrect as well. Both of these commands need to be removed. So what do we do after removing them? Only this one command remains, which is to allow VLAN 2. However, this interface hasn't been assigned a mode, so here we need to configure switch port and set it to access mode, right? So let's look directly at the correct answer here. First, remove the trunk mode, then delete the command that allows VLAN 3, and finally configure the mode to access. The correct answer is option C. Let me check the correct answer. It's option C. Alright, another diagram-based question. For this one, actually, I won't take a screenshot. It's asking us to choose well. It's a bit long. It's asking us to compare and select the root bridge. For this kind of 4 dishes and 1 soup question, we don't even need to look at the diagram. Just look at the bridge ID. So what is the bridge ID of the root bridge composed of? It consists of 2 parts, priority and mark. First of all, you look at the priority first, then the mark, and only if the priorities are the same will look at the mark. Looking at this question, it's pretty simple. The priorities are all different, so we just pick the smallest one, which is SW2, that is switch 2. Its priority is 24,586, the smallest. So this is very straightforward, choose 2. Let's look at the correct answer. Choose 2. Alright, then the fourth question is another diagram. All the questions today come with diagrams. Okay, for this question, what it's asking is for us to configure something with LACP. This is such a 3-layer channel interface. The first device has already been configured, and we've also verified CDP between the two interfaces. CDP cannot discover neighbors. That is, between A and B, we've already achieved this. CDP has discovered the neighbor. So we've finished configuring on A side. Now, how do we configure on B side? Right, so how do we configure? How exactly do we set this up? Well, we just need to do this. There's a requirement here, which is on the neighboring device, what task can be performed to make this port enabled without negotiating the channel? That is, it won't automatically negotiate, so it must be this. It could be this passive interface, this silent interface, right? The silent mode. So the correct answer to this question is DE. Let's look at the correct answer. Choose D. All right, the last question also comes with a diagram. The diagram is quite clear. It says, referring to the diagram, which configuration line is applied between the two switches. This is the channel link. So which of the following configurations is correct? Okay, then let's look at the first one. This one. Interface range 123. Right? 1 to 3 means from 1 to 3. Then configure them as a bundle. Set the mode trunk, and then ether group refers to the channel group. This mode is configured as this mode is called active mode. Active. And then here, this is another configuration command. No shutdown, right? This configuration is correct. Right? As for configuring them as access ports, those two are definitely wrong. Options B and D are definitely incorrect. Now, let's see if there's any issue with this one. This one is configured, and then channel group 1, and this mode is set to desirable mode. This is incorrect. Right? It should be set to active mode, this mode. Okay, the correct answer is A. All right, submit. If you want to learn Cisco technologies or get access to Cisco question banks, please send me a private message. You can also leave a comment below the video to discuss technical topics.